think once a year there should be a day where a spouse is free to do whatever they want. I'm going ahead and saying that.
Yeah.
It's National Swingers Day.
So this is the way you breach the subject with
Yeah.
Suzanne. Oh, you're doing it
Once a year.
online. And so she goes, what, Carl? I never, because she listens to this all the time, just like I know Nita does. And she goes, well, now, that's interesting that you would bring that up. Why? What, have you been? Is this something
Independence
you've been
Day.
thinking about?
No, I'm
It's
not
going to
looking
go
for-
like that, or you're going to go home and the fucking locks are going to be changed on the door.
Leave your wet dreams at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome to Carl and Mike. How's it going? Good.
Real good.
Well, we've done politics and we've done religion.
Yeah.
I believe sex.
Mm-hmm.
You got any
Oh.
sex?
Yeah, that church.
Yes, tell us about the
Well,
church.
no, it's a swingers club, and I forget what town it's in. I read this article. It's a swingers club. Let's say it's in Tulsa or
How's this deal
someplace. I don't know.
Yeah, a swingers club. Okay.
And they decided to move. They needed a new place, a bigger place, because they've become popular.
The swingers, is that legal?
It's not illegal. Yeah,
I
that's
guess you can have sex
no,
with
it's-
whoever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not chickens.
Right.
No chicken. Anyway, so they decided they needed a bigger place, and they found this place that was bigger, and they bought it. The problem was it was too close to a school for a so-called sexually oriented business, and I guess they think of it as a sexually oriented business. And
Why is there money exchange at the swingers
well,
club?
yeah, I think you have to, or a sex club. Okay, it would be a sex club
Right.
where you've got to be a member to join. I'm sure you know.
But
You gotta get
swingers,
there.
my understanding, swingers, you can't be single and be a swinger, can you?
Females.
Females can.
I think females get in free. It's one of those kind. It's one of those.
My
kind
understanding
of
of swingers is
Yeah.
two married people that want.
That's why they always have ladies' night. They never have men's night.
Right.
It
But don't
winds up being a
swingers,
sausage
you have to be
fest.
married to be a
Huh?
swinger. You can't be a swinger and not be married.
You can be.
You got to be
a
married to be a swinger.
Well, you got to have.
How can you really be swinging if you're single?
Well, you've got to have a wife to get in.
All right.
I don't think it's a wife. You have to have a girlfriend. You have to have somebody. If you're a male, you got to walk through the door as a pair. Okay. They're not gonna,
You could bring your friend down the street who you've never had sex with and get into the swingers
probably.
club.
Probably.
That'd be kind
But
of
anyway.
cheating. Anyway.
So they decided
digress.
that So the good citizens of wherever this was, let's say Tulsa, I'm not sure where it is, but you can look it up. It can't be hard to Google.
Did you say Tulsa?
Yeah, we're saying Tulsa because it seems like it. I could say Salt Lake. Salt Lake, that would be good. The good neighbors
Somewhere
of
in
Salt Lake.
in a red state.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
yes, and because those people need it bad, they need it. Anyway, so what they decided to do was change the club to a church, and so all of a sudden,
Church of
because it's a
Slang?
church, yeah, church of something,
And they got away with it?
Our Lady of Bondage, Our Lady.
Here's why is it called swinger? Why isn't it called like swap? Shouldn't it be swappers? Wouldn't that be from a copywriting standpoint? I think swap would be the more right on the money name.
I don't know.
Swappers. You're not.
We'll
Where
have
does
to look that
swing?
up.
Is swing just a little cooler than swap?
I don't know.
Because
That
swing
would be
does
one of
sound
those
like a cooler word. These swings
That would be
both
one of
ways.
those kind of things you'd really want to look at and see what the deal is. I don't know. I don't know
Should have been
what that is.
swappers. But
Swappers?
swappers doesn't sound as good. Swings.
No,
Swingers.
swing sounds fun.
Swingers has a little bit of cool.
Does that not
to it.
sound fun?
Yes.
Swap sounds like, okay, I'll give you yours and give
Well,
me.
that's what's happening.
Well,
though,
see,
isn't
but
it?
it's not. It's swinging.
Because you
all the
go
way
on
around.
all around all sorts of different partners.
Yeah, you could be crossing swords with the other dude.
Oh.
Which I'm not interested in that at all. But it.
But if it's swinging, you're gonna
yeah,
probably
yeah,
gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
What does that mean, crossing swords?
I don't know, but I heard on that show Entourage one time, and I thought, oh, that's good. It was talking about doing a threesome. It was two
Right.
guys and a girl, and he goes, oh, no, I'm not into that. I don't want to be crossing swords with you. Anyway, and do you do that? Do you pick up stuff from TV shows and stuff like that, and all of a sudden it just becomes part of your
Yeah,
language?
sure.
Yeah,
Not that
they
there's
just-
anything wrong
yeah,
with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yes.
Or I might be moving to Montana soon
Where's
to
that come?
grow me up a crop of dental floss. You never listened to Frank Zappa?
No, I've never been to Zappa.
Oh, you haven't?
You know why? I had a roommate, not a roommate, I had a friend that was so much into Zappa that it just made me anti-Zappa.
Last night, we went to Kim and I for my birthday. She took me to
Yes.
see Zappa play Zappa. His son Dweezil.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, Frank Zappa was a musician back in the 60s, 70s. Did a bunch of. He did. I think Dweezil said he did
was a-
something like 80 albums, but he
He's
had to
kinda-
produce
what
them
would
on
you
his own.
call him, an
Oh,
avant-garde?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
an
I
avant-garde
mean, he was
musician.
way out there. And so anyway, and he had two kids. The two kids that I know of. He may have had-
Moonbeam?
No,
Right.
Moon Unit.
Moon Unit.
Moon Unit and Dweezil.
Dweezil.
And so Dweezil had these, he was playing at House of Blues last night, and the musicians he had were just phenomenal. And they were
Really?
playing the old man's music, yeah. And
Yeah,
it was
all him doing his dad's stuff.
yeah, he was basically just a lead guitar player. Everybody else, he had
Does
other
he look
people
like Frank
singing.
Zappa?
Well, it's hard to say because Zappa always had long hair and that
Right.
mustache and the little soul patch, and but here's the weird part. It wasn't a full crowd. It was probably about 75-80% full, at least up on the balcony. I'm sure the lower thing was sold out, but literally 90% of the people that we could see on the upper level, and I'm assuming that the lower level was the same, was men.
Men?
My age, bald.
Really?
Yeah, and they were just sitting there bobbing and listening and mouthing the lyrics
To Zappa.
to Zappa.
Hardcore Zappa.
Yeah, hardcore Zappa fans.
But now they look like middle-aged truck drivers.
Or accountants or lawyers.
Or
Yeah, they're not really truck drivers.
No.
It's more professional kind of people.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, these are people in sport coats or not.
How old
but
is
they look.
Dweezil? Got to be 30s, 40s?
Yeah, probably 40s. Yeah, I would say so. And it was pretty good. But we digress.
Well, with Frank Zappa, you can't help but digress.
Yeah.
He was a digressioner.
Yeah. So becoming part of the lexicon. Ooh.
Now, were you a big Zappa
Ding,
kid
ding, ding,
as
ding,
a
ding.
kid? Were you a
SAT
Zappa?
word. Huh?
Yeah, that was a $2 word.
Yeah. I listen. I have one of his. I had a couple of his albums. Yeah, and one of them was Apostrophe, and that's the one that's got. I might be moving to Montana, or the other one is. I'm the slime oozing out of your TV set. Yeah.
He was a character.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit. I might be vile and pernicious.
So you're saying he
Obsessed
didn't
and
have he
deranged.
didn't have a studio label? He made them all himself?
It sounds like it a lot. Well, I'm sure there was a label, but he had control. I mean, absolute total control because it didn't sound like anything else that was coming out then.
Right.
And it was never. He never had any huge hits. There was a few, maybe like I might be moving to Montana, or Montana maybe in some of the other ones, but the other ones not so much.
No, I don't even think
Brown
I don't even
brown
know what
shoes
it-
don't make it. Susie cream cheese, the Grand Wazoo. No.
No.
But it was kind of interesting. I mean, that was
I-
really a throwback.
I didn't get into Zappa. I didn't really. I think it was. I don't know why. I was in Iowa. Maybe that's why.
Well, he's not a Corn State kind of guy. Definitely West Coast, but the guy did not do any drugs.
Really?
No, absolutely drug free. And
During the '60s,
yes,
which is hard to do.
and it was him, and I think his wife. I think mainly he that testified before Congress about the explicit lyrics that was
Yes.
on albums, and he took on Tipper Gore.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That I do remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really bright guy.
And so for the
bright,
kids
bright
out
guy.
there, Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife,
Yeah, was all
was
about
all about putting labeling on records.
yeah, which meant that if you weren't old enough, you weren't going to be able to buy this record. It's kind of like not going.
But she won on that out, didn't
Yeah.
she?
Oh, sure. Well, they're always
Yeah.
going to win. They get to protect the kids.
Yes. You cannot lose protecting kids, can you?
Oh yeah, yeah. So Zappa was fighting that. So it was good. Interesting person. So anyway, we changed from swingers club to a
Yes.
church, and so what that did is it allowed them to move in there, and now there's some jockeying for position on whether they're going to even allow the
I like that
swingers
as a verb.
church. Huh?
Jockeying.
Jockeying, yes.
Good verb for a swingers club
Yeah, it is.
conversation.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to be interesting to watch and see what happens.
I don't even know how do you. I don't even know how you approach your wife with the idea of swinging. You must have it early on. That
Well,
arrangement.
there's two sales that go there. You got to close the deal with the little woman first. You got to go.
Right. I'm
"Honey,
thinking we should swing.
Yeah,
I don't
and-
even know how you bring the conversation
Well, and you
up.
have. So I think we should swing. It might be kind of interesting. You can't go. I really like Bob's wife over here. I would really like to bone her. Why don't we swing? You can't go at it like that. You got to get her to buy into the general idea first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
When you say
would.
you got to get
How
them
do you
to buy
start the
into
conversation?
I
Not
have.
that I want to do this, but I have, because I really don't.
No.
But
No,
I
I've
wouldn't
got
even
no
know how to
interest in
start the
that either.
conversation.
I know that's the part of it that's interesting. I don't know how you
Like,
even
what do you
begin.
say, honey? Pass the mayonnaise, so we make these sandwiches.
Of course, it's going to be mayonnaise.
I was thinking the other day about we should fuck other people. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Now, are you putting that mayonnaise on a bratwurst sandwich? Or
Well, I would suggest you'd have to bring it up during sex.
Huh?
That's my first thing. You have to have the conversation.
I don't know.
No?
If you're having sex, it's got to be at the end of sex. Because
The
if
end
you
of
bring it at
sex.
the beginning, it's going to kill the
Yeah,
deal
you
right
really
there.
want to do not.
Yeah, you wanna
absolutely
be-
not bring it up at the beginning, but at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of the
Yeah.
post-coitus cigarette smoking time.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't know how I'd bring it up. I'm trying to think what I use as a
We need an
conversation
expert.
starter.
We need a consultant, an expert.
Do we?
To,
There's consultants for
yes.
this.
But, well, please send us an email
Yeah.
that tells us how you approached it. if
How
you
would
did.
you start a conversation with your spouse about wanting to swing?
That's harder than trying to get a hall pass.
That is harder than trying to get a hall pass.
Yeah.
You might want to explain hall pass to our.
Well, for those of you who don't know, hall pass is it's a get out of jail free card.
If you.
For fooling around during a marriage or a relationship of any kind. But you have to have tacit approval, and it'd be best to have that in writing. Or since you have a phone, do a video recording, do a video
I don't know. I
contract.
think
Video
now
contract.
when you put it that way, hall pass is just as hard.
But I don't know. I think it's
I think there should be though. You know what? I think Halloween was originally this kind of destructive period. You need the opposite. I think once a year there should be a day where a spouse is free to do whatever they want. I'm going ahead and saying that.
yeah.
It's National Swingers Day.
So this is the way you breach the subject with
Yeah.
Suzanne. Oh, you're doing it
Once a year.
online, and so she goes, "What, Carl? I never," because she listens to this all the time, just like I know Nita does. And she goes, "Well, now, that's interesting that you would bring that up. Why? What, have you been? Is this something
Independence
you've been
Day.
thinking about?"
No, I'm
It's
not
going to
looking
go
for-
like that, or you're going to go home and the fucking locks are going to be changed on the door,
How am I
and you
getting
have
in
one
trouble
change
here?
of underwear
I'm
outside.
just hypothesizing, Michael, on how you would even bring up the conversation.
That's a slippery slope.
It is. So you're trying to backtrack now, looking like you're the defending of honor here.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me get this straight, Anita. This conversation was done by both of us.
Yeah, so it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't.
Way to full retreat. I might say.
Yeah.
Okay, we bag the Independence Day
Well, but
conversation.
I don't know how those conversations begin. How
But they
it's
must
almost
begin
got-
because people have them. There's
They have 'em.
This is a big thing with the kids today. What is it called? Where you have more than one relation? You're poly something.
polyhumpus.
Polyamorous. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's polyamorous or something. I don't know what the name is. So you establish that as a boyfriend. You see, I think the only way that really works is you establish that as boyfriend, girlfriend. As part of the deal, you want the ring, we get this thing. Don't you think? Because I can't think of anyone actually married
I like
and
that.
then trying
I like that word polyamorous. She could be our Secretary of State.
polyamorous. Yeah. In the Carl and Mike administration?
Yeah, in the Carl and Mike administration.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I don't know. I don't know how those conversations start. It's almost like you have to have some sort of upfront agreement with both, and then
Pre-marriage
then you
almost.
start fishing around, and then you go, well, I like those people over there. I wonder if we could. How do you start? Hey,
I just figured out how you do
My
it.
name's Mike, and
I just figured out how to do it.
is-
Just figured it out. So you
this
get
is how
yourself,
we're gonna make money.
yeah. So you get yourself one of those Dallas Observer magazines. You know, those kind of. For every city has one. The alternative newspaper.
Dallas
Okay.
Observer, yeah.
Dallas Observer here in Dallas. I'm sure Seattle has one. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
St. Louis has one. I'm sure. It's the alternative paper that comes out once a
Mm-hmm.
week. And you go to the classified section. There's got to be something in there around
Mm-hmm.
swingers, and you just kind of you read this. Oh, honey, look at this. Listen to this ad.
Oh, that's a soft way of
You listen to this ad. You read the little ad, okay, and then you gauge reaction to it.
So you're gonna backdoor this thing.
I don't know if I choose those words, but you see the reaction to
Yeah.
the ad.
Yeah.
That's how you. And if it's like, oh, that's disgusting,
Yeah,
then
it
you probably
is.
don't.
And,
Yeah.
and
And
you
then
go,
you go.
I know it is,
Yes.
isn't it?
Can you
Why are
believe
they
that?
even
Yeah.
spending money
How
on
does
this
this
kind of
paper
stuff?
even
Oh,
exist?
my
I'm
God.
shocked. Let me flip to the sports page. They don't
Yeah.
have a sports page.
Then you go, what about this massage thing here? That's
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You
Yeah.
do the trial. Look at
yeah.
this ad.
yeah. Yeah.
Look at this ad here. That's how you would do it.
I don't know, man.
No?
I don't
Think
know.
that wouldn't work?
I don't know. That's just really.
I'm just trying to figure out how even swingers come into
Well, I
existence.
don't know. You know, it's
Because if I brought that up, it'd be an instant no.
Zoe had a friend in Austin whose parents were swingers, and they
Really?
always swang with this one couple. And at
One
some
other
point,
couple.
at some
See,
point,
I think
yeah,
that's how most swingers happen.
At some point,
What were they, like friends for a long time, and then
yeah, I think
they were
were
at
good
picnics
friends.
together,
You know, they
and
would
then
have
one day,
barbecues together, and said,
Right.
you know, we've known each other for a long time. We've come over to each other's house for barbecue. I think it's time we hump each other.
really.
I don't know.
Did you ever ask Zoe how did it happen?
Well, and
how
what,
does the
what
kid
happened?
know?
What happened is after a period of time, both couples got a divorce and they changed partners
They remarried.
and remarried, and that's the way they are today, which is kind of an interesting thing. And that's
Which is-
probably
what is it?
not atypical.
Well,
But I mean,
well, if you're only swinging with one other couple,
yeah. But if you're going to swing, you want more than one couple. I mean, so
no, I'll
if
go
you
for
get
one.
if you that's the way it starts, Carl.
is that it?
The first one's free.
not enough.
Oh. Then you're chosen for another couple, and then all of a sudden, instead of having to talk one person and
So
another
you're
couple into
going
it,
the
now
slippery
you've got to
slope
talk
road.
3 people that are already existing in the original foursome
that's-
into a
gets too
sixsome, to an
confusing.
eightsome, to something. And at that point, you join the church.
There
You
you,
just go. You just say, this is just the logistics of this is just too much. Let's just join the club and go in there and walk through the doors, couples, and get into a group grope,
Right. Group grope.
the church of group grope.
There's a famous baseball situation back in the 70s with 2 baseball players switched wives.
Really?
Yeah.
What team? The Cubs?
The Yankees. Matter of fact, Fritz
Oh, really?
Peterson. I forget the other guy's name, but they're making a movie out of it.
City-
So maybe we'll see
city
how that
folk.
happens.
City folk. That's that city folk
Yankees?
living. Yeah,
Yes.
that Yankee city
In
folk
New York
shit.
in the 70s, yeah.
Oh yeah.
More
Before
free
AIDS.
sex.
Before AIDS. That's right.
Before AIDS, yes.
Oh.
AIDS kind of knocked out the swinger thing.
Oh man,
probably.
well, probably knocked out a lot of stuff because I mean the '70s, late '70s, that was Hump City. I mean seriously,
Checking my college years.
yeah, oh yeah, that was like the time of free love, and then the bills came due and
Yeah.
wasn't so free, and
You think the late 70s were the free love period, not the late 60s?
no, I think '60s through the '70s, because '70s were more. Was that more disco? It was the
Yeah.
beginning of disco, so there's a lot of that stuff, and I think there were a lot of bathhouses, gay bathhouses in the early '70s, because that's where a lot of gay people got AIDS. I think was from bathhouse activities in the late '70s, '80s, and probably on.
Well, you're
earlier.
making the assumption that there may have been a lot of that in the gay world, but not necessarily in the straight world.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, I was in college.
I have no
I was having
freaking
sex,
idea.
but,
I don't know.
It was college sex.
The only thing I went to a party in Lubbock when I was in college out there, and I was in the art building, so it was the artists. So things are a little different there than they
Yeah.
are in the business majors. And we were over at somebody's house, and we were having barbecue, and I found out later that that after we left, there was a group that, I don't know, half dozen or more people went into a bedroom, started getting after it. And I thought, that was my first exposure to anything like that. And I kind of knew some of the people, didn't know them that well. But
Right.
they were all from the art department, potters.
Oh, yeah.
Those potters, man. People throwing pots and all that sensual activity with clay and wet clay, and just
Yeah,
easily
I
translate.
saw the movie Ghost. I can see what that does in
it's the
clothes.
same thing.
It's very
It's
sensual.
it's very sensual, and that.
Have you ever done
kinda-
that with the clay thing?
Oh yeah.
I've never done the clay
it
thing.
is.
Is it sensual?
Yes, there's something. Well, it's yes.
It's the
there's
wet
that. It's
clayness.
that wet clay, and you're molding it as you're making a pot.
Right.
Or you're well, it's not really wet.
Looked
It
wet in
can be
Ghost.
wet. It can be wet, but it's moldable. You
Right.
can mold it, and it's got a consistent. It just depends. Your consistency's whatever you like.
You see. Well,
If you
welcome
want,
to the Deviant episode of Carl and Mike.
if you want your clay more firm, you can mix it that way. If you like it a little bit looser and wetter. This is getting bad, isn't it? My kids are going to hear this, and it's all right. They're not going to be surprised.
They aren't, are they?
No,
I don't think anyone at this point is actually listening.
they're not.
They're all gone.
Yeah, everybody's gone. They peeled off. They're gone to sleep.
If you're still listening to this,
I hope what
you
they've
belong
done.
in Carl
I hope
Mike
what they've
world.
done is they actually are talking and bringing people into the Church of Q.
Church of Q.
Yeah, remember, stand up. Say where. Why. Turn and introduce yourself to the person that's looking at you, because they will be.
They definitely
And
will.
say, "Hi, I'm Mike. I don't know. Do you know?"
Why don't you do that now?
No. I know. I thought about that. I mean, we're sitting here encouraging people to do things that I'm
that
not
you're
sure,
not willing to do.
I'm not sure that I'm ready to do that.
But you are ready to announce here in Carl and Mike that you don't have all the answers.
Yes.
And surely you haven't got any answers
No, I
today
haven't.
in this
No,
episode.
No. There's absolutely no answers.
Well, that's what you get with Carl and Mike. You just never know where it's going to go. We never know where it's going to go. If you would have asked me this morning that we would have gone where we went today, I would have said
It was some meandering shit there.
there's some wild stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll leave it up to you to pull out the gold from the dross. Is that the right word?
Gold from the what?
Dross? Is it dross?
Gross. Are you throwing another? Is that a foreign word?
I'm going to have to look it up. I thought dross means like the stuff that doesn't make the gold. I could be wrong.
Are you an alchemist now?
I am an alchemist, yeah. I'm the alchemist of Q.
The alchemist of Q. Somebody's got to be. You could be the official alchemist for Q.
Yes, I'll take that role. What is it? What does the Q alchemist do?
It's trying to make,
Trying to find the gold out of the unknown.
trying to find meaning
Yeah, but
from
everybody's
the
trying-
unknown.
Yeah, there's no meaning.
Right. Instead of gold, you're trying to find meaning from the unknown. The unknown is just shit that gets thrown into the pot.
Just call me King Dross.
King. And when you need a back room with a cauldron
Well,
and
yeah,
some beakers.
I'll get right on it. All right, so tune in to Carl and Mike. Well, come back soon. And we're at carlmike.net, all over the internet at Carl and Mike. So just find us, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Peace.
Out.